What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Steel to Stone channel. So today we're going to test SPY27 some more, and I wanted to do a test, just a standard cardboard cut test with a polished edge and with a coarse edge. Since I've had this knife, I've been using it with basically a mirror polish on it since I got it for the most part. And I've been really happy with the way that it does with the polished edge. Seems to hold an edge fairly well, and I like it. But most of my other knives have, like 325 grit edges on them now. So I thought about switching this one over as well, just because I like the slicing aggression offered by a low grit edge like that. And if you want to tune it in such a way where it has that push cutting level of sharpness as well, you can do that while still maintaining a good bit of aggression with it. So that's what I've been doing with most of my knives lately, and figured I'd do it with this one. But I was curious how this would perform cutting cardboard with a polished edge versus with a coarse edge. So that's what we're going to do in this video. This test right here is the polished edge, sharpened freehand on the 1200 grit Veneve stone, and stropped on 1 micron gunny juice on basswood, 10 passes per side at 17 degrees. So you guys watch the rest of the cutting, then we'll sharpen it up, put the coarse edge on there, and then do the other test. Alright, so one test down, move it on to the Work Sharp guided system. So I've had this for a couple months. Thought I would put the 325 grit edge on there with this just because I have it, and I like trying it out with different knives and seeing how it works, and wanted to sharpen SPY27 with the guided system. So I think that in terms of budget guided sharpening systems, this is probably hands down the best one that you can get. I really like this a lot, mainly because of the clamp. I think they did a really excellent job designing the clamp on this, and it just seems to work well with thicker blades and EDC style knives, better than at least the Ruxin Pro that I have as well. And that's one of the big reasons why I bought this to begin with, is just because I like the Ruxin Pro. I think it's a good system, but I think it's more geared towards kitchen knives than knives like this. So that's the reason I bought this, and it did a really good job sharpening SPY27. Takes a good bit longer than what I'm used to, mostly sharpening freehand, but at the same time, it gives you a really consistent, perfect result basically every time. And I think it did a pretty good job. So you see me swirling the stone here. That's just me trying different things, trying to speed up the process of getting it to cut, because the way that this is designed, the magnet or a magnet holds the clamp in there, and if you use a lot of pressure on it, it kind of pushes everything down and moves it a little bit, and it can change your angle. So just trying to find efficient ways at removing material faster. And I think I'm just going to have to break down and get one of those Gritomatic universal stone holders for this whenever they come out, so that I can just get some lower grit stones to use on here. But other than that, this thing is fantastic, and it left a really good edge on the SPY27. Cut it pretty efficiently. I guess I'm just not used to how slow they cut, and that's really all it is. but trying different techniques as well with burr removal, doing light passes, pushing and pulling, and doing both at the same time, or not the same time, but doing a couple light passes and then flipping. And it took me, I don't know, probably 10 flips to where I felt like the burr was gone, but did a good job nonetheless. Very sharp edge, easily shaved hair, sliced paper towels. It was a really good edge, and it looked good too. So moving on to the next test, coarse edge, 17 degrees again, stropped on 6 micron, finished on the 325 grit diamond plate. So you guys watch this cutting. We'll come back, talk about the results of both, and then we'll strop back this edge and see how sharp we can get it to come back. That's it. That's your result. Not a whole lot of difference there. Alright, so you guys saw the result. Now here's the sharpness level after the test. And let's hit it on the strop a few times per side and see what kind of edge we can come back with. So this is the 6 micron gunny juice again, and just doing a few passes per side. And this stuff's pretty aggressive, especially with a stiff backing, a hard backing like this, like basswood is. It doesn't give a whole lot, so it almost acts as a very fine stone. So a few passes per side, and then we'll check it against my arm hair and see how it does. Check it against the hair, and it came back really well. So it was about 6 passes or so per side, I think, and it was easily shaven hair again, where it really wouldn't shave hair at all before I stropped it. So you can see a couple hairs on the blade there. And yeah, so that's something about SPY27. It comes back really well. It's easy to sharpen. It's a really good EDC steel in my opinion. And coarse versus polished, at least on cardboard, I didn't see a whole lot of a difference there. Depends on what you normally cut with your knives and what you use them for and what kind of edge you like. But either way, I think you'll get pretty good performance with either one of them. And I still think SPY27 is a great EDC steel. I just really still hung up on the price of it. But other than that, I think it's an excellent EDC steel.